Hello, I am Liffy and welcome to another planty video. I don't know if you can see Rosie, she's over here. She's in a very strange mood today, so there's probably going to be a lot of cuts. Yep, she's rolling over now. Very strange. But in case you can't tell from my clown-like appearance, we have a theme of today's video because this is another one in our Art Meets Plants series. Is that a good name? Art Meets Plants? I haven't quite decided what we should call this yet. I feel like Art Meets Plants makes the most sense. So I'm going to stop waffling because I realize that I waffle a lot and don't get to the point. So the aim of this video is to share with you blue plants. And full disclosure, I had quite a tough time researching this video because blue doesn't really appear much in plants. Flowers, yes. Plants, not so much. So you're going to have to give me a bit of grace, a bit of leeway here with the blue. But I feel like I've done a relatively good job because I've tried to focus again on indoor plants because I feel like that's what most of you guys are into. But again, let me know if you want more outside things. I'm into it. So ask and I shall give you what you want. Before we go any further with this video, if you search for blue plants, 99% of the plants that you are finding in those searches are photoshopped. Do not be fooled. You can get things like this guy, this beautiful blue string of pearls. Or some of these other examples. These are not blue plants. I know you know they are not blue plants, but I've been on a lot of Facebook groups and so many people post these images being like, where can I find this blue plant? Or I've just bought these blue seeds off of Wish. Guys, they're not blue. They're not going to be that blue. I wish they were that blue, but they're not going to be that blue ever. The Photoshop is real. And I was genuinely shocked because I started off doing this video by just Googling blue plants to just see where it would take me. And it's all just Photoshop, like heavy Photoshop, mostly from Chinese websites, but please be careful, please do not be fooled. A lot of the just normal images you'll see of blue plants as well, the saturation and the contrast has been pumped up excessively. So do not be disappointed if you see something that you've been looking for ages that looks blue-ish, and then you see it in real life and it's only a little bit blue. It's because people have edited the hell out of those photos. So I am here to give you that PSA. Okay, let's get to it. So I have my trusty list in front of me just so I can see the pictures. So if you see me suddenly do this, it's because I'm just trying to like stop my phone from turning off. Anyway, the first on the list is the ultimate catfish blue plant, the Begonia pavonina, or the peacock begonia. I've seen so many pictures of this on Instagram, on Facebook sites, and people lose their minds about it. And all of the pictures that you see taken are with flash. It does not actually look that blue in real life, so do not be catfished by it, going hunting for your life looking for this bright blue plant, and then you find it and you see that it isn't actually that blue. So my goodness, Rosie's about to roll off the table. So I'm going to put a picture up here of what it actually looks like so you can see it's still a beautiful leaf. I really like the shape of it, and it does still have a blue tinge to the leaf, but I'm going to go back to the original image that I put up of the actual blue iridescence that comes up, and when it does have that blue iridescence, it's absolutely beautiful. It's blue with the iridescence and blue with flash and blue in the right lighting. So if you can get the lighting in your home correct, I'm sure with maybe a grow light, which I don't have, so I can't really tell you if that will work or not, but I'm presuming with the right kind of UV or something, you would get that blue flash. So these plants are understory plants from the cool forests of Malaysia. So that kind of gives you an idea of what they'll want in your home. Gosh, they're really pretty. I can see why people really like them. But all of these iridescent plants, there's a couple on the list, they have this iridescent layer, that sparkly kind of, did any of you watch Pimp My Ride back in the day where they're like, yeah, we're going to put like pearlescent paint, or play Need for Speed, pearlescent paint on a car. That's what these leaves are. They're like the Need for Speed of the plant world. It's a niche reference. But yeah, the iridescence is a low light adaptation for plants that live understory to kind of help balance out if they do get a lot of direct sunlight that comes through the dappled leaves and help bounce light for them to photosynthesize. So it's a really cool adaptation that we just happen to like as sparkly humans. Okay, the next on the list, I'm going to have to read the name because I can't say the Latin name. It's a peacock fern. I feel like if you're looking for anything blue, look for the word peacock, and it kind of implies that there's going to be some blue in there somewhere, or it's going to be iridescent. So blue and iridescent, peacock is your word. Here we go. Selaginella, oh my goodness, I can't even read it so small. Wildenowii, Selaginella wildenowii, Nowii. these Latin names, like I think I can say them in my head and I sound really good, and then as soon as it leaves my mouth, it just kind of sounds like word vomit. Anyway, this is a beautiful fern. It's one of those quintessential ferns that actually looks like the alveoli. Alveoli? Doubting my words now. In our lungs, or it actually looks like our veins. It's kind of like one of those weird plants that has a symbiotic link between the human body and nature. I think it's really cool. It's really pretty. But again, this is another one that is advertised heavily as being a blue plant. So again, you'll search on Instagram and there'll be blue fern, peacock fern. It is not a blue fern. It is an iridescent blue fern. So it's another beautiful, rich, kind of bluey green when you just see it in normal life. But again, it's with that flash, with that highlight sort of burst that you catch that blue iridescence. So don't be fooled. It's not actually blue, but you do have that blue sheen, and the blue sheen, as you can see from this picture, is beautiful. Anyway, yeah, so this is another one that lives understory, hence it has that iridescent layer of cells on the outside to help with light and photosynthesizing, which is pretty cool. So that's a fun little fact for if you ever see iridescent plants. Okay, the next one on the list is a really popular guy. I don't think we can get these in South Africa, so if you're watching in South Africa and you know where to get one, hit a sister up. Overseas, I've seen quite a few people get these, but it's an Epipremnium pinnatum Cebu blue, or just commonly known as Cebu blue. These are really, really cool. So again, I'm gonna be that creepy person that looks at the picture, my bad. But they're really beautiful. So all the ones that you see people shopping for, you see in the shops, you see on Instagram, those are mostly the juvenile leaves. So those are the ones that are kind of spear-shaped. As they get more mature, they actually get fenestrations like this guy over here. Also, I don't know if you can see, but he's getting a new leaf over here. I'm very, very excited. Anyway, but the more mature Cebu blue leaf will get fenestrations like this, which is really cool. But when they start out juvenile, also that shape is really, really pretty. And they do kind of have a bluey tinge. I would say they're like silver bluey green, like grey blue green. But I think they're really pretty, and they have blue in the name, so you know they're going to be at least a little bit blue. So if you do have one of these guys, they are either a trailing or a climbing plant, so you'll notice they have a tendency in a basket to kind of hang over the side. If you give them a pole, the leaves will get bigger, because basically the aerial roots will make their way up a pole. I point here to this pole. I don't know why this has a pole yet. It doesn't need one. I'm sort of getting ahead of the game here, but once it can wrap those aerial roots around a pole into a pole, it gives it more purchase and it allows those leaves to get bigger and bigger in size. So if you want bigger leaves, basically give it a pole. Righty-ho, moving swiftly on. The next on our list is the Philodendron hirtatum silver sword. This is a beautiful plant. Oh, it's one of those ones that I've seen a lot of. I think they're not that difficult to get hold of here from what I can tell. I sort of see them floating around a lot in shops in batches. Rosie's straight up going to fall off the table. Oh, I'm worried. I think they're harder to get overseas from what I can tell just from stalking people online. Sorry, it happens. You all do it. Let's not even pretend we don't. But they're really beautiful. Again, this is on like the cusp of blue. I could not find anything with true blue leaves. It just does not happen. So I'm kind of giving you shades of blue here to hopefully, you know, shades of blue. This, I would say, is on the silver end of blue. So they're beautiful metallic leaves that kind of have that silvery blue tinge. I hope you can see what Rosie's doing. It's really funny. She's not normally like this. She's rolling around on her back. It's all very cute. Normally she just kind of like potatoes. What are you doing? Anyway, back to the silver sword. So these guys actually have really big, long leaves. I think they're slightly sort of longer in comparison to your traditional philodendron, sort of, that you would get in your house. They're not quite the same shape as a Rojo Congo. They're more elongated. I don't really have, I'm just looking for someone around here that has similar shaped leaves, and there is no one. Sorry, but I think the picture kind of shows you. Yeah. These guys are originally from Brazil, and they'll also be a climber. So if any of you have seen how people train their pink princess philodendrons up poles, these guys will do the same. And the more you allow them to climb, the bigger those leaves will get. Actually, I have a friend who has one of these at her house, and that one of her new leaves is giant. It's like double the size of the last leaf, and that's because it has a nice yummy moss pole for it to climb up. So It's probably like this big. It is huge, so you can get there with these guys. And apparently, it's an endangered species in Brazil because of deforestation. Well done, humans. But I did not know that, so you learn something new every day. Okie dokie. The sort of last in what I would say is the houseplanty section of this is another fern with a name that I can't say. It's Elaphoglossum metallicum. This thing is pretty. I'd never seen this before, but I've been deep diving on blue plants and happened to stumble across this one. This is another of the iridescent plants. So it has a really, really deep, rich, dark black green leaf, I would say, the leaf blade, quite a long leaf blade, but it has quite an intense blue sheen. And I think the sheen actually comes out in more sort of normal day-to-day lighting as opposed to the Pavonina and the peacock ones. This looks like it's more blue. So this guy's from Peru. I've never seen them here. Again, we probably have them here. I'm just not very good at finding stuff, if I'm 100% honest. These are quite interesting. They're a sort of different shaped fern than I would say is your standard fern shape. They don't have those kind of like wispy fronds. It's more actual leaf blades. So I would imagine it's also less finicky than other ferns. I can't keep ferns alive to save my life because I am a very low maintenance plant parent. I can't be doing with drama. But if that's your vibe, then this guy's pretty. If I could find one, I think I'd probably get one because I really like the dark leaf. Yeah, super pretty, from Peru, absolutely beautiful, and has that blue sheen. So I've sort of done another section for this, and that would be cacti. There are actually quite a lot of blue tinged, blue hued, bluish cacti. So I've kept it quite short, but if you have a bit of a search, you'll be able to find a lot more. But this is kind of like a general idea, and lots of other ones are in the same families. So you should be able to kind of branch out from these original ones that I'm showing you. The first one, another name I'm going to have to read, Pelicerius pachycladus. Pelicerius pachycladus. It's like one of those things where you say like knee over and over again and it starts to sound strange. Pelicerius pachycladus. This guy is cool. It sort of looks like a very tall euphorbia. Anyway, these guys are from Brazil, and the actual flesh, the skin of this cacti is sort of blue. I found quite a few pictures, but weirdly I couldn't download them. I don't know what's going on. It's probably the fact that we're in South Africa, I'm in the middle of load shedding, so having internet at the moment is a luxury because we don't have power most of the time. Hey! This cacti is actually really cool. It's got that sort of long cylindrical structure that you see in a lot of succulents. It's really rad. I like the textural contrast as well, but the flesh itself is really blue and it can actually branch out when it gets bigger, which is cool. And it needs warmth at night actually, so you can't really, if you live in an area that gets really, really cool at night or really, really cool in winter, this might not be the best plant for you. But yeah, they're super cool and they have hairy spines and there's something super appealing about that. So he's one of our blue guys. The next one is a sedum. It's called Sedum Blue Pearl. I think that's, hello. It seems to be a specific cultivar that was made by somebody, but yeah, it's really cool. I've actually seen these quite a lot here, which is interesting. They make a really nice ground cover. These are more of a dark purpley blue than like a true blue, just a blue. But they're really, really beautiful, and I have actually seen these in real life, and the color is quite strong. The one that I'm showing you here was the image that I could find that was the most true to life in coloring that I felt. There's a lot that have been photoshopped to look really blue. They are not that blue. They are a subtle blue, like a slaty purple blue, and it's really, really nice. So I'm definitely going to get some of those for our succulent bed to fill out because they're really, really pretty. Okay, the next on the succulent list is Echeveria glauca. Is it Echeveria or Echeveria? It feels like Echeveria to me, but anyway, Echeveria glauca. I think this is actually also just known as hen and chickens. These are really pretty, and glauca in Latin actually means bluey grey. So the name tells you this is another reason why Latin names as opposed to colloquial names are really important. Again, not what I would call a true blue cactus. The camera decided to cut out. At least it told me this time. So this and a lot of other echeverias can have sort of a blue tinge to them, but I would say this one is actually quite blue. I have what I think is an Echeveria glauca outside. It's quite large. It's not clustering yet, so maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a different kind of Echeveria. There's so many varieties of cacti that Honestly, I can't identify them, but the one that I have in my garden that I think is this one is actually really blue. It's a very pale blue, but it's blue nonetheless. So if you're looking for something for your cacti succulent garden, the Echeveria glauca is where it's at in terms of blue. Right, next is Graptopetalum pachypodium bluebean. No, I was almost right, Pachyphyllum bluebean. I'm good with the first bits of names. Graptopetalum pachyphyllum bluebean. Again, blue is in the name. They are blue tinged. They are not bright blue, but these are cool little guys. To me, they look like weird little fingers, like little alien fingers, like just hundreds of little ones. They're really, really cool. So if you like jelly bean cacti, again, I can't remember the real name of them. They look similar to that, but pale blue, bluey green, super pretty. And if you leave them out in really, really cold temperatures, they'll get a pink hue. So you kind of get best of both worlds with these ones. But for the really nice light blue, this is another really interesting one. So they're called blue beans. Next one is really cool. It's called a Puya alcestra? Puya alpelstris. Alpelstris? Doesn't roll off the tongue. It's so cool. So this is, I think it's called a sapphire tower. And these are really blue. Again, I think that these might be sort of pumped up a bit in the contrast on Photoshop, so I don't know if they are truly this blue, but from the research that I've done on these, they do seem to be quite blue flowers on these succulents. So they clump in little rosettes and they form this sort of big spine. So I'm going to show you like a full length image of one of these guys, but they're really beautiful. So they're native to the Andes and southern Chile, I think, and Argentina. So that again gives you an idea of the temperatures that they're able to deal with. So they're a more sort of cool temperature succulent as opposed to some of the guys we have here, which can take the heat. These are more mountainous, I believe, but really cool. They look to me like a mountainous aloe, a blue mountainous aloe kind of vibe. Really awesome. I've seen the seeds for sale before for these on rareplant.me, which apparently is a very highly rated website. Full disclosure, I did order some seeds from them. They never arrived, but that could just be our South African postal service. But other people I've seen order from them have said good things. So yeah, if you can't find a real plant, they do have the seeds there sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Okay, next on the list is Senecio mandriliscae, blue chalk sticks. That's what they're known as, blue chalk sticks. Very, very cool little plant. These are also a nice little ground cover if you have a succulent bed or sort of a space in a pot you need to fill out with other succulents. Beautiful light, would you believe, chalky blue color. So these have a nice elongated form, which kind of adds a bit of variety into a bed if you're looking for something like that. And this sort of light blue contrasts really nicely with other colors you'll have in your succulent bed. And they're really cool. Again, these look like witchy fingers as opposed to like little nubby alien fingers. Okay, I did decide to do a section on flowers because there are actually quite a lot of blue flowers. I like flowers. So if you're not into flowers, the next probably 3 plants are going to be flowers. So skip at them. We're good. Rosie. This next one is my favorite. So in case you can't tell, I like poppies a lot. And this is a Himalayan blue poppy. Its real name is Conopsis ballii, I think that's how you say it. It's a Himalayan blue poppy and they are incredible. Everything that I can see about these, they are actually this blue and I need some. I want some, I need some. So if anyone is in South Africa and can tell me where I can get seeds for these, can find these, I need some of these in my life. They are gorgeous. So if you like poppies, this is straight up a blue variety. So these guys are native to Tibet. So you know that again, that they'll be more of a cooler weather plant. They are a cool plant, but a cooler weather plant because would you believe the Himalayas are quite cold. I've actually been to the Himalayas and I'm disappointed that I didn't know that this plant existed when I went there because I'd have stalked the shit out of it. Okay, I'm just going to throw out some other blue names. I'm not going to talk about flowers because I know that's not what you're here for. Nigella damascena. Beautiful, nice feathery wispy flowers. Lovely, lovely, cool little foliage. Looks almost like fennel. Good old hydrangea. Hydrangea macrophylla Nico blue, I think is the standard one that most of us have. If you want it to be blue, add more acid into the soil, otherwise it'll be pink, but lovely blue flowers, last long, nice to cut and use in arrangements. Excellent flower. So a crocus is another one. This one I found is called a Tecophilia cyanocrocus. It's a crocus. These are critically endangered. They're from Chile because guess what? We picked them too much and now they don't grow in the wild properly anymore. So if you do find one of these, please look after it again. But another beautiful, beautiful blue flower. So another one is one that I actually do have. It's called Plumbago auriculata. And this is really, really cool. So I'm just going to run off and be that weirdo that goes and gets one and then I'm coming back. But here is a picture in the meantime. Okay, I'm back. It turns out that it's been so hot that all the flowers have fallen off of our plumbago. But they're really, really cool. These, I believe, are a South African plant. They grow really quickly. They're excellent for landscaping, super cool. And here, lots of kids, you can pick off the flowers. That's kind of what I wanted to show. And they're kind of sticky and you can like wear them as earrings or they get stuck on Rosie, which is also funny for me, irritating for her. I do take them off, but they're sticky. It's a cool adaptation that they've made so that they can stick onto animals that brush past them in the felt and then they kind of transfer somewhere else and pollinate and spread their seed and it's delicious. But yeah, they are quite sticky little flowers and they're pretty. So if you get a plumbago, you want a nice blue bush, plumbago is where it's at. So there we go, that is our blue list. I hope that kind of helped round out some blue plants. Really difficult to find blue plants, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure I've missed some. So if there's any that I've missed, please add them in the comments. I would love to know because, wow, this took me a long time to research. I feel like it didn't get as far as I wanted to. But it is good to know that there are some blue plants out there. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Rosie and I really appreciate it. Misty does too. I just don't know where she is right now. If you are on Instagram, you can find me at leafy.greenfingers to sort of stay up to date and have more of a chat. If you fancy subscribing to the channel, that would be amazing. Then I can just pop up whenever and you don't have to search for me. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much and I will see you next time for another planty video. Bye guys. See you guys next time.